Here we've got Hamamelis X, hybrid witch hazel. You know, sometimes you'll see different ones listed as Hamamelis X intermedia. Those are kind of medium-sized hybrid witch hazels, but for my purposes right now, we'll just say Hamamelis X because we know that a lot of them are on the market are hybrids. Now, native to our region is Hamamelis virginiana, but let's just stick with Hamamelis X for this moment. This is an alternate deciduous shrub with alternate leaf arrangement. And we really like this plant when it doesn't have leaves on it because in the very early spring, sometimes February, sometimes March, it starts to bloom and really lightens up the garden. I'm in front of a line of different witch hazels, Hamamelises right here, and they bloom yellow and orange and red in these little tiny crepe paper-like flowers that completely cover this plant without leaves. They're quite nice, very unique blooms, and as I look at it, I can see some of those blooms already starting to form a little bit on this plant. It's kind of a multi-stemmed, awkward shrub in the landscape, but it is quite beautiful for a native, maybe a little bit more naturalistic plantings, but a great plant for the home landscape, especially for that winter, early spring interest. Now, there are some hybrid witch hazels that can reach up to 30 foot high, but you might just maybe think about them in the landscape for most of the commercially available cultivars as 15 by 15. Again, alternate leaf arrangement, these potato chip-like leaves that are offset at the base. The fall color can be anywhere from a very nice buttery yellow to kind of a russety red color. Again, a very early spring bloom, typically a suckering multi-stem shrub. Now you can actually prune this into more of a small tree if you really wanted to, but you'd have to stay on top of it. Look for cultivars that are known for their leaves to completely senesce from the stems in order to show the blooms off a little bit more in the springtime. Arnold is one that you might see on the market that is known to do that. Here's a landscape tip. Witch hazel shrubs like moist soil but are considered adaptable. Plant in the understory or in full sun with adequate moisture. Hey everyone, just a little update on the hybrid witch hazel Hamamelis X intermedia. I'm standing next to a very popular cultivar called Arnold's Promise. And why this cultivar is so popular is the foliage actually falls off quite easily. Some of the witch hazels that are blooming right now, and I'll tell you it's just at the beginning of March into February, the leaves, the brown leaves are still hanging on. But this cultivar, Arnold's Promise, tends to have the leaves fall off quite easily. Beautiful yellow blooms just starting to open right now, maybe a little bit of an orange cast to them as they open up. But brilliantly yellow as they fully open up. This is a very large plant, probably 15 foot tall and 8 foot wide. Could be a really good addition to the landscape, and I'm just catching a very light fragrance from this plant. But what a wonderful little surprise here in the garden at the end of February, at the beginning of March, as we explore these hybrid witch hazels in the variety of colors, oranges, reds, and of course yellows that you can find to add to the home landscape.